Today for design review, I'll be reviewing Rimba's website. I'll go over what the site does well and identify some opportunities for improvement. So let's get started. Before I go into the website, it's important to take a step back and understand what Rimba does, what platform they have, what problem they're trying to solve, and who are the potential users that are visiting the site. So I went to the Y Combinator website and just pulled up some information. Rimba is building an AI-powered platform to help industrial and energy companies stay compliant with environmental regulations. It offers a platform that integrates data from various software systems to monitor, report, and verify emissions and other environmental data. What problem is this platform trying to solve? Today, compliance is manual, error-prone, and expensive. A solution to this is building a platform that automates compliance. So when I take a look at all this information, I assume that the users of this site will be people working in the industrial and energy companies. Okay, so with all that information, let's dive deep into the website. So first impression, the site looks clean. I can see that it's using a color palette, different shades of green and white and black as well. I can see that their logo here has different shades of green, which is across the website over here. So that's good. Let's take a look at this hero section. The lead heading is clear, concise, descriptive, and scannable. It indicates in a snapshot what the platform is about and proposes the value for it. It's in large, bold font, and it's in white color as well, with the contrast and background that grabs the user's attention. It's also the largest in this section. The description is also concise and to the point, provides the user with more information about the platform. A minor nitpick about the description is to be consistent with the punctuation. There's no period at the end of the sentence, but I can see across the site that they are adding punctuation at the end of the sentence. That inconsistency can come across as unpolished, and also users may subconsciously question the trustworthiness of the website and ultimately the product. So I suggest choosing a direction and making sure it's just done across the board unless there is a design rationale behind it. I also noticed these three components here. At first, I thought they were clickable because of their similar design to tabs and checkbox components on other websites. Before I go into some of my suggestions, I like to understand the design rationale behind why this design is the way it is. I think these were placed here to showcase the information in a different way rather than having long description text, right? We know that users will not read long text because it can be intimidating for users, and we know that most users will be scanning the websites anyways, so they're probably not going to read it. However, I suggest two options. A is to remove these two components from here and relocate it to another section if you think this information is valuable to users. Or B, reorganize the layout and change the design of the components. So some reasons for option A, which is to remove and relocate to another section, is that there is a lot of visual noise in the hero section, especially on the left side. Less visual noise will help with scannability and just overall visual appeal. It'll help users focus in on the important elements of the website, which I will say is this CTA over here. The second reason, I mentioned these before, the components set up an expectation to click, but they're not clickable. This expectation forms from other sites using components that look like these and are used as tabs or checkboxes. When users try to interact with them and nothing happens, it can cause confusion, frustration, and breaks the flow of the experience. It undermines the trust in the interface because users begin to second guess what is or isn't interactive. Third reason, and arguably the most important one, is that these components are visually competing with the primary call to action button right over here, right? If one of the main goals of the site, which I think it is, to drive users to request a demo, then the CTA, it should be the clearest and most prominent focal point on the page. Right now, the three components are visually louder than the CTA, whether it's due to their size, color contrast, and placement. This draws the user's attention away from the conversion path, right, which the CTA is following. The option B is to reorganize the layout and change the design of the components. I suggest removing the rectangular shape of this component, removing the checkboxes, changing the font color to the description color over here, having a 3 layout of vertical text boxes. I think that might be the way to go forward for this one. And the reason for this is what I mentioned before already. Given both options, I'm leaning towards removing completely and adding elsewhere, following the less is more principle for this one. So next, let's focus in on the video that's on this right side right here. I'm assuming the design rationale behind placing the video here is that users will have a quick and easy access to the video, which will give a comprehensive understanding of what the company does, what their value proposition is, what problem they're trying to solve, etc. Right? However, I suggest 2 options here as well. Option A is to keep the video where it is, but change the thumbnail to a product shot. Right now, the thumbnail isn't conveying much value for users who haven't clicked on the video. This could be an opportunity for those users to get a look at the product. Option B is to relocate the video entirely to another section and add a product shot image replacing the video. Not all users are going to sit and watch the video. People on websites are scanning and users have short attention spans. You have to give them a reason to sit and dig through a website. Having a video at the top doesn't build that trust and relationship yet with users for them to sit through the whole video. I prefer the second option because even if you were to add a product shot, there are some elements here that are overlapping the product shot as well. So I would go with the second option for that reason and also for the reasons that I mentioned before. Okay, so let's move on to the other section. So let's see, Center Hub for all your project needs. All right. So these buttons are not functional. Again, they create an expectation for users. When users try to interact with them and nothing happens, it can cause confusion, frustration, and it breaks the flow of the experience. The heading copy is descriptive and it's scannable, so this is very good. Let's go make compliance seamless. Okay, I like this animation, and it clearly describes the different integrations that Rimba has in its platform. And this is where we get our first product shot as well. Many standards, one platform. Okay, here they have a carousel. It's speedy. It's hard to read each of these because of the speed. I think the rationale for this, perhaps, having a hard time coming up with this one, but maybe it's just to, just cool to have and it looks different. But I think this might do more harm than good. It's hard to read each of these because of the speed. You also have to wait to see the other standards. Suggest just having it laid out and users can quickly scan and take a look at what standards the platform includes. Okay, so how good is Rimba proof in the numbers? Okay, so I think the heading here can be concise and still convey the same meaning. Currently it's long and it's 2 sentences and doesn't flow that well. There also is an error here, should be proof is in the numbers. Also, back to one of my old points, it's a nitpicky one, but I think it's important to be consistent with letter case capitalization. So example, sentence case, title case, all caps. The site here is following title case, so the majority of the words are capitalized, right? But here we have not that as the case, right? We have good as lowercase and we have numbers as lowercase. That inconsistency can come across as unpolished, and also users, they'll subconsciously question the trustworthiness of the product and of the website as well. So I suggest just choosing a direction and Make sure it's just done across the board unless there is a design rationale behind that. Okay, so this is done well. It's scannable and it proposes the value of the site. Okay. So these components, I'm expecting to interact with these, but they don't work. And the reason why I'm expecting to interact with these is because they're similar to tabs on the other site. It suggests change the design, so there is no expectation. This is a testimonial section, which is great to have on a startup website. I see that there is a image here, but not sure how it is relevant to this testimonial over here. It's important to have images that are relevant to the content around and provide visual enhancement to the message. I'm confused how this image relates to this testimonial. However, I think that this is somehow related to the testimonial, maybe because I'm not a user of this product, I don't know. Could be like the location of the company, not entirely sure, but in general, I suggest adding relevant images to the content around it that visually convey a similar message that's in the content if possible. Okay, let's go to the next section. How Rimba works. Okay, seamlessly. Okay, I really like this section. It's scannable, concise, and lots of images to convey a message visually. I like the product shots and animations to describe how the product works. I think there is an opportunity here now that I'm going through it to reorganize these sections based on importance for their users. I think this section should be way more at the top because it provides a good overview of what the product does. Let's go to the next one over here for compliance. Okay, so I think for this, same goes for this part as well too. I think this should be way more at the top. It tailors the product to their targeted users like compliance teams and auditors. Also, back to the images point, I think they should convey some sort of value, and they are an opportunity to do so. However, I'm not sure if these images are doing exactly that. They seem to be generic stock photos. I'd remove these or replace them with images that provide some value and are relevant to what's being discussed over here. Another thing that I noticed is the contrast might be low actually. Let me just take a look. Yeah, so the contrast here is low, and I think I think this one is also low as well too. Yeah, so this is, I think everything else might be fine. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, there are some color contrast issues here. Low contrast. It's really easy to fix. You just increase the color of the text, and that would easily fix those issues. But they're important to address as it is an accessibility issue. Okay, so let's keep going. Integrate with ease. Okay, we have an FAQ section here. And then, okay, so this backed by section should be also more at the top. This gives social proof and builds trust with users. I definitely think that there is now an opportunity to reorganize some of these sections and perhaps even remove some and combine others. Overall, good work. It's a clean website, and with these improvements, I think the site will be even better.